Welcome to the Lovecars On The Grid podcast, your global motorsport roundup with me, Tiff Needell, and Paul Woodman.
But still no Paul, which means more Hamilton. And you can find a lot more Hamilton on Hamilton James Cars.
Perfect.
YouTube. That's where he comes from. YouTuber. Go have a look at his YouTube.
Thank you.
Weird stuff. But you say Hamilton James Cars, but
Yes.
I've seen some helicopter stories.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's not just
No,
cars.
you're right. Now I found that there's a bit of a niche in YouTube world. There isn't an awful lot of people doing helicopter content, and I'm very lucky because my godfather owns a company called Historic Helicopters, and he has a few of these machines. And actually, something relevant to you, because the next helicopter I'm filming later this week is with a particular helicopter that you raced against. You were in a 996 GT3, and you raced against a Gazelle, and you actually won that race.
Of course I did. I wrote the script.
Well, as he says, so
Amateurs.
Cars and Helicopters. If you want to check it out, you absolutely can do.
You've gone too far now.
Sorry.
I'm just going to mention that.
Sorry.
YouTubers, in they get anything, take a mile. Anyway, but much to talk about this weekend because it was packed full of brilliant racing wherever we went. There was a Formula One, of course, from Brazil, the hypercars out in the Bahrain desert, the rally cars doing Tokyo drifting in Japan, and MotoGP leaping up and down the wonderful crested corners of the Algarve circuit. But of course, we can't start any stories about motor racing until we just say a sad farewell to Quentin Wilson, who passed away just on the Friday last weekend, wasn't it? And just it was so shocked to most people because he'd kept it very quiet, and the illness sounds like quite a short illness, and taken far too soon. And Count Quentula, our very own Top Gear Dracula, and it's almost a bit disappointing when they talk about Top Gear now in the world. Like, it started in 2002 with the Clarkson, Hammond and May, but in fact it was a decade before that. In fact, Jeremy doing a tweet flogging Thingy's book, Willman's book, said Top Gear was a regional programme before Willman invented the new programme. And he missed out the 90s when, of course, myself and Jeremy Clarkson, I joined in 87, Jeremy about 88 a year later, and Quentin came along about 1990. Then we had this amazing decade, when in the middle of the 1990s, when we launched Top Gear magazine, we were having 6 million viewers, and it wasn't as famous because in those days, sort of, there wasn't that celebrity element in shows and gardening programs. You know, we weren't all massive celebrities. We just did a car show. So it virtually had the same audience in the mid-90s as it had in the heyday of the 2000s. So
you were there. You were the first one. So you said that Clarkson joined a year after you. So you were the first one in the proper.
I'm on more Top Gear shows than anyone except Jeremy.
Really?
Yes, I've done more than anybody.
That's pretty cool.
But Quentin was so much part of the trio that we were. I mean, I was sort of hanging on their coattails sometimes because Jeremy was the lead man, obviously the humour, and Quentin just talked a load of bollocks about second-hand cars for hours and loved his classic cars, and he loved being a man of the people, didn't he? He was very proud of his battle against the road tax systems that he was doing, where he was doing a bit green stuff, wasn't he, in his latter years. But I mean, just a wonderful character and a great comedic element to everything he said. He was always exaggerating and had such a great vocabulary. He did English at Oxford or something.
Right.
So he had
you can kind of see that when he's because he had a very dry humour, but it was a very intelligent humour as well, wasn't it?
So we much missed. Very sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, the world seemed going round, and Formula One was going round in Brazil, and what a weekend we had.
Gosh, it was a good one.
And I said last week on this show, it never disappoints. It's a proper racetrack circuit. And, that's how it should be and everything else. But even for the sprint race onwards, there was just drama.
Yeah, there was.
The sprint qualifying, we had Lando on pole, but Kimi Antonelli having the weekend of his life.
Yeah.
And I've often sort of worried about Kimi, and I've sort of said, well, I'm not quite sure, is he that good? He's had some ups and downs.
I've had the same thoughts.
This weekend he was on fire. He split the two McLarens for pole position, for second place on the grid. And then we had this weird, George was fourth and Alonso was fifth.
Yeah.
And Alonso started, Aston Martin again started one of these weekends, but they seem to start,
really high
free
up.
practice 1 or 2, he's quickest.
Brilliant, yeah.
And then they just
I know, and for me,
sink.
soul-destroying. It's absolutely soul-destroying watching that.
I know, sink now, because Stroll was 7th on the grid. Max Verstappen was 6th.
Yeah.
And we'll go, flipping what's Max obviously having a bit of an off weekend. We thought that might happen. Ferraris were 8th and 11th.
Yeah.
Another bad week. Hamilton only 11th out of Q2.
I know.
Anyway, so then we went, and obviously big Lando fans who are breathing these S-bend and first corners that always cause so many accidents.
There were so many things, and there's a couple of things that I don't think, like for example, Alonso. How did he end up going so wide as well? Because that's something else that. Did you miss that? It wasn't documented. And all of a sudden, he's just all the way out around. So, Fernando, what are you doing over there? But it was a hell of an exciting race. I'm really excited to get into it.
Of course, it only lasted a lap, the sprint, didn't it? That's the Grand Prix you're talking about, maybe. But,
it was. Sorry.
That was the
Grand Prix. Excuse me.
Of course, then we had the 3 crashing. Oscar going off. The next Oscar's in the barriers, and we're all going, "Whoa! How did that happen?" And then just as we're going, "Whoa!" Hulkenberg's arriving, slamming in.
Yeah.
And then about 3 hours later, with the yellow flags flashing, some bloke called Colapinto, who's been signed for another year by Alpine.
Because he was the
nothing to do with the money, of course. Nothing to do with the money from South America.
Yes, of course. Because he was the favourite. He was the local favourite, wasn't he, as well?
Well, that was Bortoletto.
Sorry. Yes, that's
there's
true.
lots of South Americans
That's
coming
true.
in.
Yeah.
So they'd all hit the curb where it was wet.
Yeah.
And everybody seemed to blame the car in front for doing it. But every time we went on board, it was actually, you could see, especially Hulkenberg, it was them doing it to themselves. So this was a shock first. So Oscar's out.
Yeah.
Lando's on for an 8-point killer.
Yeah.
And after, I think that overnight, they actually filled in the bloody gaps on the curbs to stop it happening again. Well, no. If it's wet, you're a racing
avoid the curbs.
driver,
You don't go on the curbs.
curbs.
It's 101. It's basic. Even I know that.
So I'd leave those. In fact, on a very dry day, I'd fill the gaps in the curbs with water.
Yeah. Just to give that little element of surprise there.
You want to try and gain an inch or two, pal?
Yeah.
I'll
Good luck.
have you off the road.
Good luck.
So a huge shock, and then the red flag, obviously, they sorted all that out and put all the cars away. Oscar's first day. And then the sprint went pretty much to plan then, because there wasn't much until that last time, and Lando was cruising off. Well, Antonelli was keeping him him honest, and George, of course, was third in the other Mercedes. But then we had this awful penultimate lap. It was starting the last lap, this huge shunt with Bortoletto.
Yes.
Who he'd only qualified, 13th. Whereas he's been out qualifying Hulkenberg recently, and Hulkenberg was 7th or 8th or something. Because he was the hometown favourite. It was his hometown.
Ah, that's right.
His first Grand Prix in Sao Paulo, the Brazilian, and he's such a talented driver. I think will be a champion if he gets the right car. Will certainly be a team leader. But he did this last-minute jink to overtake Albon.
Yeah.
And this is almost makes me worry about next year with this both arrows going.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he took the last-minute toe.
Yeah.
And he jinked just before he braked. So I think the DRS was still open.
Okay, so he didn't have that downforce on the back.
So when he made that move,
he lost the rear end.
Yeah, and then of course he had to hit the brakes at the same time.
Of course.
And
that's going to rotate the car.
Even more.
Yeah.
Turn the car, we don't rotate.
Sorry. Helicopter stuff.
Yeah, oversteer, understeer. Rotate is a full speed. But anyway, so a huge shunt. Luckily it was the last lap, so Lando could cruise under the yellow flags. But and amazingly, with this modern cars, he got out of it uninjured. And,
of course.
Then the mechanics start this incredible rebuild. And you're thinking, oh boy, don't rush it. I mean, qualifying was 3 hours away or something. Don't rush it, boys. Do a proper job. Take your time. Grand Prix qualifying tomorrow. The sprint. Let's. No, I'm sorry, it was Grand Prix qualifying, wasn't it? 3 hours later. And they almost got it out for qualifying. Yeah. It was unbelievable. They could rebuild that much damage.
Well, they have a lot of spare parts. They come with truckloads of spare parts.
Yeah, but to put them all on.
I know.
I mean, if you see the sort of amount of detail when you're building a brake duct,
the tolerances are.
Yeah. So anyway, they nearly got him out for qualifying, where again Lando's on pole again, same front row, Kimi second again. And then Leclerc jumped up to third, got one Ferrari working.
Yep.
Whereas Lewis, 13th.
I know, Lewis, what's going on, mate?
He didn't get his rear tyres into the right temp zone on his final flyer.
Okay.
Hadjar was 5th. Mm-hmm. George 6th, being shown up by Kimi. And hold on a minute, I've got to 6th. There's no Red Bulls mentioned.
No, I know. What was going on there?
16th and 19th, both out in Q1 for the first time since ever, I think.
Yeah,
there was a previous time. I think it went back to like Coulthard Day, the very early days.
Yep.
But I mean, apparently there's one story that Yuki in the sprint race had found something they did to his car, made it better. And so they put that
on Max's car.
On Max's car for qualifying.
I had that. Yes.
Well, who's going to follow Yuki's ideas? Bless him. So that was incredible. That really was a shock. the race itself, you know, it was pretty much once Lando got through turn one, it was going to be a cruise again.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got to tip the hat to Lando, and obviously we're Lando fans, and good for him. Like, well done. But there was no short of drama going on just behind him.
Well, that's what built up. Because the first lap, Borsaletto's weekend from hell just got worse. Because he was squeezed going into that tight right-hander behind the pits by Stroll, I think he said it was. Because he had to start at the back, obviously, with no qualifying time. In the wall he went again.
And there was that's the tightest part of there's the least amount of runoff there, isn't there?
Crash.
There's no other point on the track which is as tight as that.
There have been crashes there before.
Yes, there have.
The previous right, and then it tightens the next right.
That's right.
So, and the wall's coming closer and closer.
Exactly.
So it's a tricky part of the track. And of course that then brought out the safety car, which then brought out...
This is the big one.
The big one.
This is the big one.
Well, I mean, everyone's got their opinion, but I think the majority, I certainly believe, that Oscar was hard done by.
I think, to be honest with you, I think Leclerc was hard done by, to be brutally honest, because we could see, this is the thing, is that obviously the camera guys, they do a very, very good job, but you can't see every little piece of what's going on there, can you? No. So, obviously, Oscar coming in on the outside, Leclerc way out. Yeah, everyone could way out. He'd taken that wide line, he was coming back and doing exactly what he should have been doing. He shunted on the front wheel, and I felt very sorry for him.
Because Kimi was closing him out.
Well, he was, but it was because obviously he wheel span.
The whole problem is, he wheel span on the restart.
Exactly.
So the other two got him.
And
then it was three wide.
And he said he was too aggressive on the throttle, and he lost.
That's Kimi,
yeah. Which do you know what? He admitted it.
He said he couldn't see Oscar anymore when he turned in, because he virtually followed Lando's line, so he just shut the line off.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this I can't remember when.
Okay.
It's this ridiculous. A brake locking is out of control. That's what Oscar. That's what he's convicted on.
That's in the rule book, is it?
It happened. Yes, and this stupid bloody wing mirror level with front wheel, and of course he was along the side. But of course you're supposed to have your front wheel level with wing mirror at the apex.
At the apex,
But they hadn't got to the apex.
No.
They already clashed. I mean, where's that anyway?
Yeah.
So I think in the sort of positional thing, Oscar was obviously trying to get out of it.
Yes. So he locked up. Did he try and get out?
But he wasn't out of control.
No, he was trying to get up.
But this is now used in the rule book as evidence. And it happened, I just can't remember when. A Grand Prix 7 Grand Prix ago, someone did it. And they picked up. And I said, well, that's not out of control.
No.
You're braking a bit hard.
You're reacting to something.
And also there's a bit of camber as you're turning in.
Yeah.
So obviously he hit him in the end, but I mean Antonelli had a big gap to Leclerc on his right.
Yeah, huge.
Could definitely have left more room.
Sure.
But I think he was probably a bit razzled anyway. I mean,
for sure. Well, absolutely. Well, we saw this. As soon as it starts to get 3 or 4 wide, things start going wrong. Things start happening.
So Oscar, although we have 2 Lando fans here, we do feel for you on this occasion. I think that was very harsh.
And
very harsh.
Leclerc, I feel sorry for Leclerc.
But it's because they run these stupid overtaking rule books.
Yes.
The stewards have to read line 1. Was he in full control of his car? Was he pinched? No.
Yeah. And they think, no, he wasn't,
so
because
one
he locked
little
up.
lock-up condemned him to death.
And it was a small lock-up. It wasn't a huge plume of smoke either. So it did make for an exciting, starting early part of the race there as well.
So then we had sort of safety cars and all, and it settled down to a normal race.
Yes.
With half people having pitted once and people going up. And yet, as a viewer, unless you really understand tyres that are going on or off, all of a sudden
you don't really understand why the packs keep shuffling.
It's always confusing by the packs. And I thought, I was saying this is brilliant racing.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't much racing because they're all getting
all over the place.
But then towards the end, once they'd all had their last
all
stop,
came together.
And we have to compliment Pirelli, because often we slag off Pirelli for their tyres and degradation. But obviously on this track, with that surface, which is quite abrasive, they'd got the difference between a soft red tyre and a yellow and a white.
Right.
Perfect.
Because
the white wasn't good enough to race. It was too slow. The red was quicker, but only lasted about 10 laps.
Yeah.
But so for a change, the Pirellis also played a big part in how good the racing was.
Yeah.
So one up for Pirelli there.
Yep.
Because it all mucks, and then we suddenly had this scenario where, hold on, it was Max Verstappen. Obviously, we'd seen him catch up with the safety car earlier on. 2 safety cars had helped him.
He did a good job to gain some paces.
There he is. Hold on a minute, he's just taking George Russell for 4th, and then he's chasing Kimi.
Away he goes.
And that was close. And Kimi then did the most amazing drive of his life, I think, to hold him off. But again, the red tyres just ran out of puff.
Yeah.
When Max was getting closer, so that was all played a part in it. But then behind him, You had Oscar again with his 10-second penalty.
Yes.
Catching for more points, trying to test George, and George was doing the same as Kimi. George on the radio about his brakes were overheating, would they last the race? And
yeah, well, you had the similar thing with Hamilton as well, because he was convinced that his rear suspension, there was something wrong with his rear suspension as well, if I remember.
No, that was because of the error, because he picked up the damage.
The damage, yes.
Whose nose did he pick up? He must have.
I can't remember, because he went into the back of him, didn't he?
Well, I think it was a nose that was just thrown out on the track. It might have been.
Oh, okay.
Whose nose? Was that the sprint race? Are we getting confused?
No, this was in the main race.
He damaged the car anyway.
Yeah, he damaged the car.
So it was the veins behind the nose.
Right.
That all got damaged. Poor old. So Lewis's nightmare goes on.
It does.
And on. Which is why I say sometimes I think he might give up. And you know, I could say Oliver Behrman with an ex-Ferrari champion.
I heard they're looking to replace Hamilton with Behrman.
Well, they're listening to my podcast.
Well, of course they are. That's very true.
Telling them Behrman.
Yeah, it's official. It's an official rumour right now.
So the Hamilton fans say, "Oh, whoa, ridiculous! Hamilton's going to go on forever and ever." But he won't go on forever. They don't all go on forever and ever. To see him in the state he's in as Hamilton fans.
Yes,
I'm a big Hamilton fan. It's a sad thing he's in. It's an amazing drive by Max. You know, nothing to lose. He had a fresh engine and he had fresh bits.
Yeah.
So, and I presume, and I never know how much. If you go to the pit, they probably say change the setup as well. Which, if you hadn't started on the grid, they couldn't have changed the suspension setup.
No.
So whatever was bad in the qualifying, he couldn't have changed.
Couldn't have changed.
But
right.
he did because he could. I think we got to. I think we should call Kimi's other name. What's Kimi's other name? His first name.
Anton.
He's got another first name. Cause I keep saying Kimi. I'm thinking of
Raikkonen. Yeah, me too.
You got to change your name, Kimi. Have the other name. He's definitely got another. Kimi Antonio. I don't know. I've forgotten this.
You just want to rename everyone, don't you, Tiff?
So it was an amazing fight up front. Tension all the way to the end. Really good. Not that much but enough overtaking. You know, you don't have to overtake every lap. But everyone hardly missed Ollie Behrman. Brilliant 6th place. Just catching up from Rosie 10th on the grid. Qualify, he was running his second or third. I mean, just another wonderful Behrman tale.
Yeah.
But then, because the racing was so good up front, the cameraman, the director, didn't have to.
Anything at the back.
but the fight behind was just brilliant. Did you see when they crossed the line?
No, I didn't. No.
From 7th to 14th.
Oh, there was only about half a length in it, wasn't there? With Verstappen.
It was Lawson. No, Lawson holding up Hadjar.
Hadjar. Ah, right. Yes.
No, that was not the front. There's battle for 7th.
Oh, okay.
Do you know normally the director has to go to midfield because it's all a bit boring up front. So we never saw any of this battle because somehow or other, I don't know how, maybe tyres changing, Lawson had got ahead of Hadjar in the Racing Bulls. And I don't think they like each other.
Right.
And I don't think anybody likes Lawson, to be honest, because the way he gets very aggressive and full of his own importance every time anything happens. He had a clash with Behrman, didn't he, where they both got penalties in the sprint race.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's always quick to blame someone old. Well, most drivers are, to be honest.
Racing driver excuses.
Anyway, it would appear that Lawson was just holding up Hadjar, fighting for his life for 7th. And that meant there was this whole queue behind them that couldn't over. It was like a DRS train with 2 Racing Bulls side by side in every corner. We didn't see any of it. I'd love to see more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So they were covered by 3 seconds from 7th to 14th. So it was like Lawson flashed across over Hadjar, and then right in low row behind Hulkenberg, Gasly, Alonso, Ocon, Sainz,
all
Alonso.
Coming in.
Almost quicker than I can say those names.
Yeah.
Across the line.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to see a whole re-edit of
the back end.
That battle for 7th.
Yeah.
So great telly.
It was good, and that's really important for us because we've had a couple of really boring races, and now we've had 2 brilliant ones.
I know, and then we're going to bloody Las Vegas, then 2 races in the desert.
In the desert, I know. This is the end. We don't need to watch the rest now. That's it.
So anyway, so Lando now has a 24-point lead.
Yes.
And if he finishes
second,
first and second, so if Oscar wins all 3 Grand Prix and the sprint, and Lando is second in all 3 Grand Prix,
he'll still win.
And the sprint, Lando would win the title by 2 points.
Brilliant. That's what we want.
I doubt if that will happen. But
no, Lando's he's gonna keep going, I reckon.
So yeah, well done Formula, well done Brazil, well done old-fashioned racing circuit, but don't fill in the curbs with a bit of water.
Yeah.
So that was obviously the main event for most people, but World Endurance Championship was in Bahrain.
Yep.
I saw this. There were about 5 people in the grandstand.
Was there? Oh, no.
And all the grandstands which actually get filled with the Grand Prix, all empty, weren't even used.
Really?
I mean, why take this, magnificent field of hypercars, which Silver's English, European fans, You have to have fans with a history of motorsport to really enjoy world sports cars, because it's Le Mans and it's everything else.
Of course.
And they're not educated, they haven't experienced enough sports cars in the Far East, Middle East. Well, Far East have, Japan have always had a world championship race. So it's such a shame to see such a brilliant field. Anyway.
For sure.
It was a happy weekend for Toyota and Ferrari, but a sad one for Porsche and Jenson Button fans.
Oh, yes, because he's retiring.
He's retiring.
Yeah, really sad.
So for Toyota, they won 5 champions. They dominated the sport between 2019 and 2023.
Yep.
Hadn't won a race this year. They've probably been hit a bit by the dreaded balance of performance.
Okay, yeah.
I bet if you're they've won it for 5 championships, so we'll make sure they don't win.
Because it was Ferrari had their first Le Mans. It was last year, wasn't it?
Ferrari won 3 on the trot.
3 on the trot.
Yeah,
now.
so
3 on the trot.
They keep sandbagging and getting the right balance of performance. It's always a bit worrying balance of performance. But Toyota were first and second on the grid. They didn't really cruise to a 1-2 win. There was plenty of the Ferraris were challenging mid-race, because when you pit stop, strategy and everything else. But right in the middle of the race, actually, at one stage, Aston Martin, who had qualified 6th and 9th, so they're getting better.
They were leading.
They led for a few laps, which suddenly reminded me, hold on a minute, I wonder, have they led this year? I don't think they've led at all this year.
Or
which
last
I
year.
think means it's the first time an Aston Martin has led a world sports car race since Tiff Needell led.
She had to get this in, but it's there, isn't it?
At the top,
it's there.
This is my sports car painting we're looking at now. So top right is the MK Aston Martin, in which I briefly led Le Mans in 1985.
Wow.
To the left, my first Le Mans, the Ibec open top. In the middle, the Porsche that put me on the podium in 1990.
Nice.
Lamborghini on the right, I raced in South Africa. Lister Storm at Daytona on the left.
Wow.
And bottom left, that's me and the Porsche that I raced at Mexico. We're talking about the Mexico City where I raced that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, the Dome I raced in Japan.
Yeah.
The top right, the last Aston Martin pad car to lead Le Mans.
Until now. Very briefly. How long did you lead?
Little break, advert break.
Yeah.
Little advert break.
How long were you in the lead? That was 1980.
About 5 laps. I was running a genuine third in the opening stint.
Yeah.
Because the car wasn't light. It was all fuel consumption at the beginning. So
this was 85, did you say?
90.
90, sorry.
No,
90.
Yes, 85.
85,
90
sorry.
was finished third.
Yeah.
And so when the team manager just thought, no, because I had a couple of amateur drivers with me.
Okay.
So we were never going to win or really do. I'd qualified 13th and pulled through to third. And
Yeah.
was on it. I was having an on it stint.
Yeah.
And he thought, because it took a minute to fill the tanks up.
Okay.
So he half fueled me.
Oh.
So he spent 30 seconds and popped me out.
Oh, really? So
when
you're light?
Yeah, I'm light now.
Okay.
Well, they all stopped in the pits for 1 minute.
Right.
So I cruised through to the lead.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's cool.
So, what page you want? I'll finish that page. So, Aston Martin briefly there, but they're back. It's really good to those Valkyries out there doing so well. But the Toyota finished first and second.
Yep.
Had their first win, as I say, since they won the championship so many times. Ferrari very happy to finish third, fourth and fifth, that claimed the manufacturer's crown.
Nice.
First time Ferrari's had a manufacturer's sports car title since 1972, apparently.
Really?
But there were long periods without manufacturer's titles, and it was GT racing, so they had so many things. But also the Ferraris finishing there made the Drivers' Championship went to Britain's James Collado.
Okay.
Backed up with 2 Italians, Antonio Giovinazzi, Formula 1 driver, briefly, and Alessandro Pierguidi.
Okay.
So the 3 of them took the driver's crown. But Porsche, Porsche, who were, this is the sad side of the weekend. It's their last, they're pulling out.
I know.
The World Endurance have them budgets, money, I don't know. They're still going to race the cars in America.
Yeah.
So the Penske Porsches will still be racing in America, and hopefully they'll come to Le Mans with a privateer team, might enter them.
Because they're still doing the GT stuff though, aren't they? The GT cars.
Oh yeah, GT's their backing, I think.
They're
But
still
there
doing
could
that.
be a private Porsche entry.
That would be cool.
Endurance. But the worst thing was again maybe they suffered a bit from balance of performance, which changed from track to track.
Yeah.
Because they only qualified 8th and 18th. They had a bad race, admitted. I read the stories. They couldn't get the tyres to work, and the tyres were wrong, and in the cold of the night because it went dark.
Of course.
They finished 13th and 14th in their and they're the reigning champions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which always makes me of a spectator understand. You bought your Porsche jacket and your Porsche kit, and then you go to watch the race, and your Porsches are round the back.
Is it just a question of pounds and pence? Is that what it is?
No, it's this balance of performance. They're trying very hard, but the trouble is it's from track to track. You can't sort of really tell sometimes.
No.
So, and the other thing was Jenson Button, who this is his last professional drive.
Yeah.
And someone we all admire greatly, obviously world champion for Britain, and just a lovely bloke as
Yeah,
well, but just a proper great commentator on Formula One. I really like it when he comes and does his Formula One comments.
And local as well, not a million miles from here either as well. Froome boy, I think.
Froome.
It was, yeah.
But it was his last pro race, and he got involved in this clash. And it was a great move. They were coming out of the turn one at Bahrain's very tight, and then they go to that left-right. And there was the problem with endurance racing is you always got these GT3 cars. That's part of the skill. Is
exactly.
getting
around them, yeah.
But he had it was Van der. It wasn't a Porsche, Cadillac, not a Cadillac. I don't know what car it was now. No, it was a BMW.
BMW.
Anyway, the BMW went to the right of this little Ferrari privateer. It was the amateur. And the other thing about GT3 racing, they're not all professional drivers.
No, gentlemen drivers.
They have to have an amateur.
Yes.
Because that's to keep. Because obviously amateur sometimes brings the budget quite often.
Of course, yeah, because they got the money.
It's the way my first Le Mans there, I was with the manager of Pink Floyd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Emka Aston Martin that I led Le Mans in.
No
Emka
way.
was the production company name for Pink
Floyd.
Floyd's manager.
No way.
So, and he was the sort of amateur that brought money, that got me to Le Mans without an amateur bringing the money.
Yeah.
He wasn't that quick, but
Still, doesn't matter. You were there.
I was there.
You were
I
there.
was there because he was slow and he had the money. Anyway, so the BMW went to the right of this Ferrari. Jenson took a perfect exit from the corner, staying on track to take the speed out.
Yeah.
So they went each side of the Ferrari, but then the Ferrari driver was so buddy looking to his right at this one overtaking that he veered to the left.
Oh, God.
Caught the back of Jenson's car.
Oh, God.
Now, on board with Jenson, there's a little bit of a, ooh, what was that?
Yeah.
Jenson doesn't move to the right,
Yeah.
but this other guy's hit the back of him and then speared off and had a huge shove, demolished his Ferrari up against the wall. But Jenson got a stop-go drive-through penalty for it.
He had the perfect line. He did nothing
I
wrong,
know.
and all he did was react.
Well, pretty much. I don't
Unreal.
know. I don't know what else he couldn't have done anything else.
No.
But I mean, I think the move was fair. But so he finished his last professional race 16th in his Cadillac. It was a bit of a shame.
Bit of a shame. But he's still going to be doing some revival stuff, I think.
Winning at Revival every
he'll be doing
year.
loads of revival stuff, yeah.
Loves doing it.
He does.
So that was the World Endurance Championship, came to its finish, its last round. Then we had the World Rally Championship, penultimate round in Japan.
Yes.
Where this amazing title battle has been going on with the three Toyotas up front,
Yeah.
between Kalle Rovanperä, Sebastian Ogier and Elfyn Evans, our Welsh-British. We'll call him Welsh now because people they get upset when we claim someone. Usually we call him Welsh when he does badly.
And British when he's winning. That's the age-old thing, isn't
But
it?
Elfyn, I love it. And he's been the bridesmaid for 3 or 4 years. He's finished second. So this is his best year. Because Kalle Rovanperä has announced he's quitting World Rally Championship. He was coming to try and win his last year. Ogier wants to win it because it'll equal Sebastian, the other one, Loeb's 8 titles. So they've all got a reason to win it.
Yeah.
Elfyn's never won it. Kalle, I'm quitting to go single-seater racing.
he wants to do well.
Ogier, I want to equal the 8.
Yeah.
But Rovanperä was the first to clash the barriers and drop out of the thing. He came back to finish 6th in the end. And the last day was pouring with rain, and you see these narrow roads that go down. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
So I think starting the last day, Ogier had a 6-second lead over Elfyn Evans. They've been just neck and neck for 3 days.
Unreal.
3 days of going round lanes of this narrow and mud and slippy, and then rain came. Anyway, so he started there with a 6-second lead, and he managed to win the rally by 11 seconds at the end of the day. And he won the what do they call it? I always call it a sprint. I always forget what they call it. The power stage.
Power stage, yes.
That's the name. So the last stage of every rally is this one winning extra points for the first, second, third in the power stage. And Ogier took it by a 10th of a second. Pouring rain. I don't know how long this day. It might have been 10 miles. It might have been 6 miles.
So 10th of a second. That is a very, very small amount
Puddles,
of time.
aquaplaning.
Nice.
So he stole the extra point by a 10th of a second.
Unreal.
So that puts them with only 1 round to go when they're heading off to the desert for the
of course they are, because it starts and
finishes.
finishes with the camels. We all know that.
Where's the budget that's going to pay a bit of extra money? And they've never held a World Rally Championship before.
No.
So it's a brand new event.
But they have got lots of sand, so there is, that could be quite
none
good.
of the drivers or teams know the car setup.
No.
So it's going to be a real iffy.
Yeah.
But at least Ogier and Evans are going to have the same cars as Rovanperä.
Yeah.
What are the points now? So I got it somewhere 4 points. So basically, Ogier beats Evans, he's lost. So whoever comes first or second. Rovanperä can still win it. He's still 24 points ahead. 3 weeks' time, that is. So To the desert it goes, as all great finales. So that's World Rally Desert.
Yeah. Formula One
Desert.
Yeah.
World Endurance Championship Desert.
Desert. Yes. Start and finish.
It's quite surprising. Ott Tanak, the Hyundai champion was he reigning champion? Did he win it last year? I think he won it on the championship last year, didn't he? Or the year before. He's quitting as well now. So
right.
we've lost both Rovanperä and Tanak of the front pro drivers. Oliver Solberg, who's the son of Petter Solberg.
Petter Solberg, yeah.
Great Subaru champion, loved by the British fans
Yes.
all over. He's definitely got Rovanperä's place, so he's moving up to the factory World Rally Championship car, but there's now a space at Hyundai. So you've got Hyundai? You could be a Hyundai.
I don't know. I'm not too good on loose surfaces, to be fair. I thought you might give that a crack, actually, Tiff. You done any rallying?
But that's really exciting. Done any rallying?
Done any rallying?
Where's a painting?
Go on.
I haven't got one. I haven't got one. I have survived 2 British World Rally Championship rounds.
Have you actually?
Oh, yeah.
What were you in?
Most racing drivers crash. I was in a Sierra Cosworth 4x4, finished 7th in class and 24th overall. Group N production car.
Right, cool.
Finished that one. Then I was out in the Toyota.
Sleeker.
No, not Sleeker.
No.
Was it Toyota, the front wheel drive?
Starlet.
No.
No.
Skoda. Skoda's a Skoda. Fabia. Skoda Fabia.
Oh, I thought you said a Toyota.
And that was a really...
You did, but anyway, that doesn't matter.
Skoda. Sorry, Toyota.
Skoda Fabia.
Skoda.
Yeah.
And I survived again. In the icy one, terrified the life. I don't know what I was doing. I was pressing all the pedals and nothing would work coming down. You'd come down a hill at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe not that fast. I wasn't going that quick.
Okay.
About 80. And I remember this distinctly, one of the longest straights I've been on.
Yeah.
And about 300 yards away, I could just see this upside down car in the middle of the road.
Oh, no way.
So I start
Pressing pedal, nothing's working.
I changed down. I'm trying to no. And I just about got it slowed down enough to go past.
Kind of go round him.
Car.
Unreal.
Didn't know what I was doing. Lack of grip. They're just when they're so experienced. When I see the Monte Carlo rally and they're going off and there's ice.
Yeah.
And they got ice notes because they're allowed. A team are allowed to go ahead.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's black ice.
Yeah.
You can't see.
No, of course.
Just. That was when I did a dry run. Did the Rally Scotland in a Vauxhall. And that was front wheel drive, but it was all dry.
Right.
And I was only about 1.5 a mile off, no, 1.5 a mile off of the factory car.
Okay.
So I was almost being a rally driver.
So this is a privateer team again, then, is it?
Yeah, it was a semi-works.
Okay.
A factory Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets wet and slippy, because it's the changing conditions and knowing when you push and when you can't. You know, they just with experience.
Or in terms of the Monaco, we should do what Lancia did and just go around with a bag of salt and then obviously just smelt all of the black ice when your car comes through.
It was a rally where Stig Blomqvist was leading, I think, in the same car as me when I was struggling to be 25th or 26th. And apparently, when I found out after, virtually if it's icy, he just took the whole car off the road.
Really, just to get that extra grip.
That on the snow.
That's clever. That's clever. Get the traction. Yeah.
In fact, this is one of my better stories. This is a World Rally Championship event. I'm in my Skoda Fabia.
Okay. Yep.
I'm coming up a hill, icy. You're not allowed spikes or snow tyres.
Okay.
So I'm coming up this hill at about 5 miles an hour.
Yeah. All over the shop.
And I see these headlights catching me up.
Okay.
They're doing this. So I thought, I've got to move a bit over. Because they're going to a bit of courtesy to a car behind. And the first thing I saw out of my peripheral vision was a young lady pulling a rope over her shoulder.
No.
The Simonite sisters were quite famous in those days. They did a lot of rallying. They were more for that sort of rally raiding, big 4x4 buggy time trials.
Yes,
I think that's still going. You don't see it so much on television anymore. So she was pulling her sister up the hill in their front-wheel drive Ford.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously.
They overtook me. They 1 mile an hour faster because she was pulling.
Oh, so they weren't going. They were
I was
cruising
doing 5 miles an hour.
right, and they were doing 6. Because the way you described it, I thought you were going to say, well, it was a 4-wheel drive Subaru coming right up behind you.
In a World Championship event, I was overtaken.
Wow.
By a girl pulling her sister up the hill.
That is well done, Skoda. Well done, Fabia.
Never forget that. Never forget that. So that was, where are we? So that was the World Rally Championship.
Yes.
Really looking forward to that final. That should be absolutely fantastic. Tension, and we just hope Elfin finally wins. It'd be so cruel because Ogier was only part-time. He'd just come back this year as he'd done previous just to do a few rallies.
Yeah.
But he did so well, we thought, well, might as well do them all now. Might as well win the championship.
Yeah, go for it.
So anyway, the MotoGP, always love MotoGP. They went to this wonderful Algarve circuit in Portugal with these huge dips and hollows. And it's just a great track. I always think if one car or bike on its own is exciting to watch through the corner, well, bikes normally
What track
tick
was this?
that
Not
box.
not
The
Portimao.
Algarve.
Not
Yeah,
Portimao.
Portimao.
Yeah,
They changed the name. They call it
of course
Algarve.
we know Portimao. Of course. Great circuit.
But the thing about MotoGP, it's really come alive in the second half of the season, because apart from what, I think it was Honda won one and then Aprilia. Round 6 and 7 were won by an Aprilia and a Honda. But basically, Ducati had won 16 of the 18 rounds so far. And of course, Marc Marquez had won the championship 4 rounds ago.
Yeah.
Then he had this horrendous crash when he was hit from behind and he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But he's already won the title. But since then, because it was almost getting boring, because it was Marc Marquez, then followed by his brother Alex Marquez, and everybody else behind, and quite a spread out field. And it was actually, I began to say on these podcasts that, MotoGP is getting boring.
Yeah.
But the other manufacturers have just got, especially Aprilia, KTM, and Yamaha.
Yeah.
So we had this thing on the sprint race in the Algarve, the qualifying, was the front row, there was no Ducatis on the front row.
Okay.
Because Bezzecchi was on pole with the Aprilia, Acosta second with the KTM, and Fabio Quartararo third in the Yamaha.
What a name. That's a hell of a name.
Fabio. But he's French. I know. It's funny, it's very Italian.
Very Italian name. Yeah.
Did I pronounce him French?
No.
Je suis Fabio Quartararo. I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that, French people. But the sprint race was just brilliant. The three of them, not unfortunately Quartararo, because the Yamaha is useless in a straight line.
Right.
It just gets dropped.
Okay.
But Alex Marquez, the brother who's second in the World Championship, with his satellite Gresini Ducati, they joined these other two. They just battled for the whole sprint race.
Yeah.
Epic. And Marquez won it on the Gresini Ducati from Acosta on the KTM and Bezzecchi on the Aprilia. But did I say it the right way around? I don't know which race, but the Grand Prix itself, Bezzecchi managed to get out front, stay out front. Yes, Marquez was second, Acosta's there. It was a bit more spread out in the Grand Prix. The same three were on the podium. But it was just really good round all the way through the field, epic racing. Moto 2, the Brazilian Diogo Moreira won again. And from the middle of the season, he's just caught the championship lead, and he's now got a very healthy championship. The only championship that hasn't been won already in Moto scene was Moto 2.
Right.
But he's now got a very big lead ahead of the Spanish Manuel Gonzalez, who was dominating early on. Could only finish 6th.
Yeah.
So with 1 round left, it looks like Moreira for Brazil is going to take the Moto.
They're better names than Formula 1, I will say this. These are better names than Formula 1 racers' names. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not a huge MotoGP fan, so I'm still learning this section.
Is that how we're now going to judge MotoGP
by the names? Yeah.
Bloody YouTube. That's what you get from YouTube.
I don't do 2 wheels.
So that's to look forward to. But Valencia's an awful circuit. Another traditional last round of the championship. Not in the sand, actually.
Not in the sand, no.
Point, but Valencia is the home.
Okay.
So all these Spanish riders that fill Moto3 grids and win the championship and then come through the ranks, they all live in Valencia all winter.
That's interesting.
They go round and round and round all winter.
So they all know that track really well?
Yes.
Right.
And so because it's sort of the home of Spanish motorcycle racing, and half the grids are Spanish riders.
It should be quite a good race then.
It's a crap track. They use it for GT3. It's just Mickey Mouse, corner, one long straight.
No real chance to overtake.
Loads of runoff everywhere, no jeopardy, so there's always track limits. Because motorbikes now, they're very strict. They've got these little green bits, and if you touch them, and of course with a camera you can very easily see, even if there's 1 inch on
there's
the touch,
tick,
tick, and you get about 3 ticks, and then the 4th tick you're given a long lap penalty.
Okay.
It's a very track limit
focused.
Policed.
Yeah, okay.
Which always tends to make the racing not so good.
Right.
So that will be the decider. Moto 3, we had the 3rd win of the year for Max Chies, a rookie who's now moved up to 3rd in the championship. And he could take 2nd in the championship, I think, at the last round, because the champion has already been won by Jose Antonio Rueda.
Another good name. It's another good name.
Who was involved with this awful bloody crash in the warm-up lap in, where were they? Brazil? They went to Brazil, Peru, wherever they were last. Yeah, there.
Okay.
When he ran into the back of on an outlap. We talked about this last year. Your memory's very short, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, YouTuber memory.
It was in Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand, yes.
And he crashed at the back of the Dutch kid, Noah Detwiller. And he broke his wrist and bits, but Detwiller was very, very intensive care for a week. And luckily the news is he's now out of intensive care. But they resuscitated him 3 or 4 times on the track.
Oh, really? Oh, gosh.
They've had his spleen's been removed and he's got fractures everywhere. So it's very good news that he's on his way to a long recovery.
For sure.
So Champion Rueda wasn't at the race, and that championship's already decided. Just a bit of news for the home, and I always talk about Irish at home. Do you feel Irish
I do,
at home?
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
The Welsh, questionable.
Don't forget to say British, whatever you do.
No, the Welsh is questionable, but the Irish, definitely.
And not Northern Ireland, I mean Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland, yeah, proper,
Good.
yeah, absolutely.
Because there was a brilliant 6th place for this Irish kid, 18-year-old Casey O'Gorman, who had a couple of rides about 4 rounds ago when he substituted for someone else. He's winning in the Talent Cup, the lower areas. So absolutely fantastic. And he had a brilliant ride to 6th place in his 3rd ever. So we just hope he gets the money and the sponsorship to have a full season of Moto3. And our usual Moto3 contender, Scott Ogden, also had a good run to 8th. Maybe he's actually 2nd on the grid, Scott. Scott keeps on having these amazing moments. But then he drops back in races, which is so frustrating for him and his team and everything else. So, but as usual, Moto3, very entertaining racing. You've got to watch more Moto.
Yeah.
You've only got one to watch now around a boring little Valencia.
Valencia, which you say is going to be no good. But I'll give it a go.
They're close.
Okay.
They still race closely.
Yeah.
But it's a bit hard to overtake anywhere. And,
of course. Yeah.
So that's what we got next weekend. On to next weekend, we've got MotoGP in Valencia.
Yep.
Not a lot on.
No.
So you can talk about...
We might have to do some more story time, possibly.
Well, I'll bring you a story at the end of what's on, because the only big major racing is MotoGP in Valencia. Check out miss one actually. I'm pretty sure it's just MotoGP in where am I? Valencia. Yes.
Valencia, that's it. Yeah.
And the penultimate round of the Aussie Supercars, in the Sandown 500, where there are 2 races, which will then decide, like NASCAR, which 4 drivers can go into the final round in Adelaide.
Just
3 rounds
like
to
NASCAR
win
that they do with the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tenths in Sandown, Australia.
Okay, cool.
But the only other motor sporting event that's on is the return of A2RL.
Yes.
You know all about this, don't you?
Yes, I
YouTube.
do.
This is a YouTuber sort of subject.
This is quite interesting.
Well, tell me about it then.
Well, it's autonomous, which is the thing that's really quite weird about it.
What happened last time they tried it?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that you've tried it. But
Yes,
I do know that you've tried it.
We did a film for Lovecars, which you haven't edited and hasn't come out yet.
No, but we're going to get it out.
So I went down and investigated it all. I mean, it's just incredible what they tried to do.
Yeah.
And the first round was slightly embarrassing.
Okay.
Because they did all stop. Well,
of course they did.
Well, a classic thing, because it went to computer car to do what a racing car does.
Yeah.
You know, maybe on its own you can follow a trace.
Okay.
You can sort of see how they can make that work.
Okay.
Because you can do that, a trace.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted a good story, the BMW, autonomous BMW thing out in, God, it was years ago, one of the very early autonomous cars.
This was an E90 chassis BMW, if I remember correctly.
I think 3 Series.
Yeah, it was an E93
anyway,
series.
I had to race it round a
That's right.
honed out course.
That's right. Yeah.
Of course I beat it. Of course I beat it. But it was pretty. I was so impressed.
Yeah.
I suddenly said, well, how does it do? Oh, that's pretty impressive.
It learns the track.
No, it sets the track. So
Does it? Right.
they make it do a track and then they put the codes out. So it's created the track.
No, I do remember this. It was an E90. Was it an M3 or just a 3
I don't know
Series?
what it was. Anyway, so they've now, the autonomous racing got this money out. They tried to create it, and it was. And one thing happened: the yellow flags came out.
Okay.
Because a car had stopped at the corner ahead.
Right.
So the following car got a yellow flag on its
stopped.
computer and stopped. Because it said you can't overtake a car under the yellow.
Right. Okay.
It didn't say you can't overtake a
stopped car on a yellow.
But I know we laugh now, but to be
it
fair
makes
to them,
sense. It makes sense.
You've got to do it to experience this.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake, of course. you
Yeah,
know.
of course.
Anyway, there's apparently 12 cars coming out. Saturday this is.
Yeah.
And it'll be early morning for us if it's. It won't be on telly, I doubt, but it'll probably be on YouTube or somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, they're out with 12 cars. But I went down, we filmed the story, and I drove. They're Super Formula cars, which is what Kalle Rovanperä is going to try and do. It's the Japanese single-seater champion. Really quick. And I was in this thing because they've got one car that the driver still drives.
Okay, yeah.
Because the Russian driver, I'm going to kick myself again with a name. He has a little race against the autonomous car. Obviously staged it a bit. Of course. He races and follows. So there's probably one really good car that can do quite a good lap.
Quite a good lap, yeah.
But I went out in this car. They're flipping quick cars.
Are they?
And I only did half the Abu Dhabi circuit, including the bit under the hotel. And after the hotel, I turned left and came back out again. So it's a short
circuit, yeah.
But the complexity of the sort of 5 or 6 corners that go under the hotel and then left. Even I was thinking,
quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the speed I'm going, it's
Yeah.
like, turn, brake,
Yeah.
brake,
Yeah.
So with a computer having to do that.
It's quite a lot, yeah.
So I admire them for their efforts. They've
Yes.
also got some. They've actually got it's a bit of a bigger meeting because they've got like an autonomous weekend. There's autonomous buggies, I think.
What's the world coming
There's
to?
autonomous planes, I think.
No.
Racing. So not with people in it.
No, of course.
So we can talk. Maybe you can come to me next week with more autonomous news.
Yeah.
About your future, the future of autonomous cars.
Well, we're gonna have a bit of story because obviously there's not a lot on. But also as well, I will like to say this: if you guys do enjoy a bit of story time with Tiff, which I certainly do, and I'm sure, go and check out last week's episode as well because there wasn't an awful lot of motorsport there, and you had some pretty impressive stories to talk about last week. So if you want a bit more of this, go and check out last week's podcast as well. Some good stories in there.
But otherwise, let's go, Lando.
Let's do it, Lando.
Go.
He's got it.
Let's go, Lando. Cheers.
Bye, guys.